So let's break this down by race, right? Let's look at voters of color, look at white voters. And what we see here is back in 2020, according to the exit poll, Joe Biden won voters of color in Michigan by 62 points. Look at that advantage today. It has been sliced by a third, only 21 points. That's Joe Biden's lead over Donald Trump among voters of color. Among white voters, Donald Trump has gained a little bit of steam as well. It was 11 points in 2020. His margin over Joe Biden right now is 16 points. But this decline in support for Joe Biden among voters of color in Michigan is something we've been seeing in state after state after state and nationally as well, where he's got some big problems. This is a historic low amount of support for a Democratic presidential candidate among voters of color, and it seems to be happening across the board, Kate.
The legacy media is desperately hoping for a Biden comeback, but it's simply not happening. We're going to look at the latest poll disaster for Biden, and we're going to see precisely why things will continue to go from bad to worse for Sleepy Joe. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you stay sane during these insane times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button, and let's dive right in. With the presidential election just 8 months away, Democrats are beginning to openly panic about bumbling Biden's disastrous polling numbers. Democrat strategist James Carville actually complained the other day that looking at Biden's polling is like walking in on your grandmother naked. How's that for an image? And of course, he has in mind here the Real Clear Politics polling averages in every single battleground state. Trump is up 1 in Wisconsin. He's up in Arizona by 5, in Georgia by 5, in Michigan by 4, in Pennsylvania by 2, in North Carolina by 4, and in Nevada by 3. In other words, Trump is trouncing Biden in every single battleground state, every single one. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Take a look at this poll shocker. This is the latest from Harvard-Harris. Voters were asked if Trump is convicted of crimes related to his handling of classified presidential documents, how would you vote? Look at this, gang. It's Trump by 8, 54 to 46. And note, Trump is over the 50% mark. He's winning the popular vote. Now, when asked who they would vote for if Trump were convicted for inciting the Capitol riots on January 6th, he does lose support, but not by much. He goes down to 50%. But then when you compare that to the generic question of who you plan to vote for regardless in November, Trump goes back on top with 51% of the vote, again, surpassing the 50% mark. So what's the takeaway here? The takeaway is that the Democrats' plans to steal this election through lawfare, through the Banana Republic-style weaponization of the law, isn't working. Either Trump comes out on top, he actually gains support, or the needle is barely moved. Voters are largely discounting his legal troubles, with his poll numbers hardly budging were he convicted. Now, if you're a regular to this channel, if not, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. But if you are a regular, if you've been with us now for a while, you know that I've been predicting this from day one of the raid at Mar-a-Lago. We predicted that this obvious lawfare was going to backfire on the Democrats, and that's largely because our system is going through our legal system is going through a massive crisis of legitimacy. Trafalgar polling found that 79%, 8 in 10 Americans, believe that we live in a two-tier justice system that protects the wealthy, elite, and powerful at the expense of average citizens. Now, it's not just our legal system. Pretty much every major cultural institution today is going through a comparable crisis of legitimacy. But our justice system, most especially, has lost the trust and confidence of the vast majority of the population. The most recent Harvard-Harris poll found that 55% of the population believes that the indictments against President Trump are politically motivated. 56% believe this is a deliberate interference in the 2024 election by bumbling Biden and his Justice Department. So there was no way that this lawfare was not going to backfire against the Democrats. And we're seeing it in real time here. Even if convicted, Trump's poll numbers really don't budge either way. Voters are not taking this lawfare seriously. But it gets even worse for Biden. Wait until you see this. Hey gang, have you always wanted to explore historical cities with a group of courageous patriots? Well, now is your chance to embark on an exclusive adventure with me, Dr. Steve, and other patriots like you as we set sail on the Mediterranean. You are invited to join us this August on Royal Caribbean's luxury liner, the Voyager of the Seas. You get to spend time with me and other like-minded patriots during live onboard classes as we dive into topics like the rising parallel economy, the culture wars, and how you can share my optimism in conservative renewal. We'll discover enchanting architecture, timeless artistry, and breathtaking experiences as we adventure through Spain, France, and Italy. Enjoy incredible dining experiences, enriching education, and once-in-a-lifetime attractions each day of our journey. It will be a summer that you will never forget. Join me and your fellow patriots August 5th to 12th, 2024 for this unparalleled adventure. If you want more information or want to take part in our last-minute pricing sale, my team's waiting to talk to you. There are only a handful of cabins left, so don't wait. Click on that link below or go to cruiseinfo.turleytalks.com to learn more. It's going to be an absolutely unforgettable trip, and I can't wait to spend it with you. Click on that link below right now. Now, this same Harvard-Harris poll gets even worse for Biden. 60% of respondents said that they were very concerned about Biden's mental fitness, which includes, if you can believe it, 30% of Democrats. 63% believe Biden is too old to be president. Now, again, gang, this is devastating stuff. When a supermajority of voters believe you're too old to be president, and they're concerned that you are too cognitively declined to be president, gang, that's a very, very, very hard sell to get them to vote for you. Maybe a few percent can be persuaded, but that still leaves 55, 56% not persuaded. And that's what the polls are showing, certainly in swing states where Trump is amassing these massive margins. And again, if you can believe it, it gets even worse for Biden. A new survey just found that 40% of black voters don't even want to vote in November. 4 in 10 of the number one most loyal constituency of the Democratic Party aren't happy with either candidate. And again, to add insult to injury of those who plan to vote, who are certain to vote, as you saw at the beginning of the video, Trump is getting record support, upwards of 20%. Trump has basically doubled his support among non-white voters since 2020, most particularly Latino voters. We may, for the first time, see in November, for the very first time, the Republican getting the majority of the Latino vote and the Democrat getting the lowest black vote in decades. That would translate into an electoral disaster for Biden, and that's exactly what we're seeing develop here. It may not be akin to walking in on your grandmother naked, but if you're a Democrat, Biden's poll numbers simply couldn't be worse.